Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, and welcome back to another episode of The Good News from the Earth Nation.
That's right. Okay. Thank you for coming up in here. We appreciate everybody. And hopefully, like I've always said, you get something out of this. Um, I know we do. And some days, the enemy don't want us to, flat out. So, I think, I can't remember her name. Sweet Living Floyd or something was saying, how come there's not a bunch of people watching and listening to this? I mean, you can fill in the blank and answer that however you wanted to, but really, truthfully, I don't know. I don't know. We will say this before I jump into the devotion. We have noticed that we have lost subscribers on both channels. The Good News from Yurt Nation and our channel that we've had for almost 3 years, Corey and Cynthia Davis. We see it, and there's nothing we can do about it, and not going to worry about it, because it is what it is, and it is going to be what it's going to be. I just told Cynthia, I said, I know that there's millions, thousands, and millions of people out there that just don't know about us and don't know about who we are and what we do and all that. But it's okay, because you know what the one that it matters the most knows that me and Cynthia are trying and to just be good people, Christian people, and that's God. That's the one that matters. And so that's what we're putting it up right there with that being said. And today's title for the devotion is Bearing Fruit. Bearing fruit. And if you've read the Bible any, you basically know what that means. You can, like people say, you can judge them by the fruit that they bear. Well, what does that mean? It means, okay, if they say that they're a Christian or whatever, are they bearing any fruit? Are they showing any fruit at all? Or is it like, Jesus is the vine and we are the branches? Do we need some branches trimmed and pruned? Yes, always. So we're going to jump off into this, bearing fruit. And it's the same psalm. It's the same psalm as yesterday. And if you missed yesterday's, that's fine. But Psalm 92, we read the whole psalm yesterday's devotion. Today it's Psalm 92, verses 12 through 15. And it reads like this. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. To show that the Lord is upright, he is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. So, it starts off, the righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. And if anybody's ever went by a river or whatever, it's hard to notice when you're by the river, all the vegetation and the trees and everything that's near the river, all the way down to the edge. They're flourishing, they're growing, they're big, they're strong, You get an aerial view, sometimes you see it on, people that do drone footage or something, and you'll see like in certain areas where it's like, even in desert areas, that a river flows through or whatever, that's like nothing. You'll see like no vegetation, no growth, no life. And then where this river or water source is just green and lush. And for centuries, that's where people lived. They had to. Near that, water is life. We know that we cannot live without water. So there's the analogy, the metaphor, the comparison, that they're comparing us, that if we're by the source, then we're going to flourish. It says 13, those be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. Yeah, we will, just like those trees or any kind of life. So here's the here's the devotion. Psalm 92 is a wonderful message for those facing difficulties that advanced years may bring. So a lot of folks that watch us are, maybe up in the years and you're still getting around, but you know that there's difficulties in those advanced years. Bearing fruit is not one-dimensional. I've heard stories about folks who could not walk and were terminally ill, but people were still blessed by the fruit of their lives. So if you're one of those that cannot walk, you are not mobile. Or maybe you're a little mobile, with your wheelchair. We talked to a few people that had that, and it was awesome to hear that. They're not stopping, they're getting out. But guess what? If you are, and you're terminally ill, people were still blessed by their fruit.
That's sweet.
Cynthia talks about her nanny a lot, and we should. Those that had an impact on our lives, they're still bearing fruit from their,
Yeah.
planted that seed, and God gives the increase.
That's sweet too.
Yeah, so still blessed by the fruit of their lives. One gentleman I know uses his phone to bear fruit. He encourages people every day with his calls. He has brightened many lives. Offering understanding is bearing fruit. Lifting up others in prayer is bearing fruit. So let's read that. Offering understanding is bearing fruit. Lifting up others in prayer is bearing fruit. So there's so many different ways that we can bear fruit for God. If you are planted, like it says in Psalm, those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish, and they shall still bring forth fruit in old age. So there's nothing that can stop you from bearing fruit, no matter what your circumstance is. If you're limited to getting out and about, and I can't go out and about and visit, well, you can still bear that fruit. Okay, and reading on, the superheroes of the Bible, like Moses, Joshua, and Daniel, were all older when they did their mightiest work. But superheroes can also be simple people with simple acts. One does not need to part the Red Sea, invade Canaan, or be a governor of Babylon to bear fruit, right? I mean, we know those stories. The part the Red Sea. We know that with God's power, Moses lifted up his staff, and there went the divided waters. Or invade Canaan. The land that he was giving them, Joshua. Or like Daniel being a governor of Babylon. You don't have to be in these mighty positions to bear fruit. It says you can be simple people with simple acts. Living a life pleasing to God by praying to Him and loving Him is a fruit-bearing life too. So, yeah, living a life pleasing to God by praying to Him and loving Him is a fruit-bearing life too. Living a self-controlled life, treating others with kindness, and having a gentle personality are also signs of bearing fruit. This can be done at any age. Yep. So, treating others with kindness and having a gentle personality. I think we all should treat people with kindness. Like I was telling Cynthia yesterday about, there should be books with no covers. Because we all know the phrase, can't judge a book by its cover, but it is. The picture of that book or the picture of a video or a picture of a whatever that somebody puts out there, it is judged by that right off the bat and is overlooked and not read or not listened to. I mean, it happens. But treating others with kindness, I think we should do that, because one reason that comes to my mind is because, first of all, you being kind to people, you looking at someone that you come in contact with, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they've been through. But I'll guarantee this. They've been through something and or are going through something. Yeah. Because if you're not affected by what's going on in today's world, then great. But then again, I find that kind of scary. Because if you're not affected by what's going on and been going on, then that means you're just not even aware or don't even care of how things are going on in society and in the world. And friends, let me tell you something. It's changing. A very fast pace change. And it ain't good. So being kind to others in a cruel world, man, let's just all strive to do that,
Yeah.
But that can also be signs of bearing fruit. Acknowledging that God is your rock is the best way to bear fruit in old age. The psalmist is talking about all of us when he says they will bear fruit. And I think that's what he's talking about in verse 14. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They is you. They is us. So don't ever think that you are limited to the point that you are not bearing fruit or you can't bear fruit, because you can and we can. And being kind, we all can do at any age. Like it says, at any age you can be kind. I was taught to be kind as a little bitty fella.
I was taught to be kind for my nanny.
Yeah. And so that right there, bearing fruit in many different various ways. So you're not limited. So don't limit yourself, is what I'm trying to spit out. Don't limit yourself just because whatever circumstance is going on in your life right now, or, health issues or whatever, like if you might have been one that used to do this or used to do that, and I can't do that no more, but you're still bearing fruit on those that you have affected in your life. So don't give up. Because we gotta just keep on being kind and showing the love, like the last sentence of that devotion. The last sentence says, acknowledging that God is your rock is the best way to bear fruit. So I'm telling you today, that our rock is God. He's the one that sustains us. He's the one that
fills us up.
fills us, yeah. And he's the one that's going to save us. So, yeah, there we go, guys. Appreciate everybody that watches and tunes in and listens and, hits the thumbs up and shares it. Thank you for sharing it, those that you've shared. And, let's get it out there to those that need to know, So, appreciate it. We're going to get out of here, and we'll see you on the next one. So, peace out. Love you guys. Yeah.
And you have a purpose, a beautiful one. And don't give up.
That's right.
Love you guys. Woohoo!
Yeah, we'll see y'all.